Good evening, everybody. Kind of a last minute broadcast. I don't know how many people are going to be in here, but give it a couple minutes, let some people get in here. What I'm going to be doing today is I have pins from many people. Um, and I thought I would share, let you see everyone else's pins. Um, and what they look like, what they compared to another pen, etc., etc. So not just mine at all. So it's going to be everybody else's, and many of them you will know, and some of them you will have, and etc. So um, just to let you know too, hi. My hands are very black and stained because I've been out doing yard work and did black mulch today. So my hands are black stained. Sorry about that. I'm not a hand model. So, all right. Well, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to flip the camera around, and what I'll do is I'll sit out the old trusty speedball, the black plastic, and you can look at it compared to size. Black mulch is it's for landscaping. If you're from the south, pine straw is used. You put it around trees, plants, etc. for landscaping purposes. So, and black is dyed. So, of course, I got dye all over my hands. Okay, so I'm gonna flip the camera, and we're just gonna start going through these pins one by one. Let you kind of have a look at everybody else's. Okay, so what I'm going to do too to help you all is there's no order to this whatsoever. I filled out little slips of paper for everybody's Instagram IDs. So, and the black plastic speedball will be here for reference to size, and then I'll kind of show you each one, tell you a little bit about the person that I know, and we'll go from there. So, no order. I'm going to grab the first slip of paper I have is Arm Pin. Arm Pin, her name is, oh God, I want to say I'm pronouncing it right, Elena. Yeah, that's Michael's blotter. Elena is from Russia, and she makes pins with these. It's similar to a Blackwell. Okay, I thought that was right. And then it has a little thumb screw on it to tighten it. So this is one of her earlier pins that I have. Size-wise, you can see it's very similar in size to a speedball, sorry. Nice finish. This one's made out of Carillion birch. And just a nice standard. Well, see, the thing is with wood pins, they're going to vary in weight, so you can't always say they're a bit heavy. So this one's very light. It's birch, so it's as light as maple. So that's one thing you got to consider when you're buying wood pins is the type of wood it is, because of wood densities and such. They're going to be very different in weight. So there is Elena's Arm Pin. Right there, that's her Instagram ID. Okay, next up, pull this paper out. Who's next here? I have Ink Slinger pens. Yeah, Snakewood's really heavy. Ink Slinger, I don't have one of, okay, I'll tell you a little bit about Dan. Dan is the guy that makes these deco holders for paper and ink arts. He's based out of Nashville. Oops, sorry about that. And he just started full-time making pins. So he makes them out of exotic woods, not just the cherry like this. Dan's pins are a Zenarian type mount. At least they are on these. I don't know for positive that his new ones are because I haven't got one yet. So it's very similar in size to the Speedball. The weight will vary with wood, but he just started, and he's doing an awesome job. So there's Dan. Okay. Next, we have Juanita. Juanita does not make a bunch of pins, but she does from time to time, and she hand paints them. She has access to a lathe periodically and will turn the pins, and she'll hand paint them. She's based in the Philippines. Are you? Okay. Hey, there's Dan. All right, cool. So he's pinning and gluing the flanges in place on his high ends. So I'm gonna get one of your high ends, Dan. Yeah, I just haven't yet. There's lots of people I got to buy pins from. So Juanita, I had her paint. I said I live on a farm with an old barn and windmill and all that. So I had her paint this. It's an awesome little pin. And like I said, she doesn't do it full time, so I don't know how much business she even wants. But I thought I'd share just because it's her pin. And honestly, part of this too is the fact that I want to show off my pins, but I don't want to insult anybody in case I missed it. So I just pulled out everybody's that I have. So, all right. Next, we have Huang. And forgive me if I don't pronounce names right because I've never pronounced names. I always type them. Huang is located in Vietnam. He typically makes really long, thin pins, and this is one of his that he hand painted. It's got a traditional goldfish motif on it. He does a lot of them with urushi finish, which urushi is basically kind of, to simplify it, it's basically sap from a tree that they make a finish out of, and it's really nice high-end Japanese lacquerware and stuff is done in urushi. So this is Huang's. He does his very long, typically, and very slender. And he will be at Ironpith this year with his pins. I know that for a fact. So there's Huang. All right. Next we have Timothy Lacambre. Timothy is located in South Africa. And he does very, very, very different materials and such. So I will be at Ironpith for Monday and Tuesday, just for 2 days. I'm just going to visit and see a few faces that I typically wouldn't see on the West Coast and then go home. So very short visit. But Timothy does acrylics, does woods, does all kinds of different things. This is one he made for me. It's got a Damascus steel flange, which he doesn't do. He does brass typically. Sometimes he's on here. This one is, a little bit larger than your speedball. He does varied sizes and varied shapes. And you can find him at Lacambre Knives and Pins. He also makes high-end knives too. So if you ever want a knife, he's another one to check out. Okay. Next, we have... No, I haven't. I don't have one of Roger's actually. The couple of times I went there in the past, he was not accepting orders at the time. So I don't have one of his. And you'll find that I don't have everybody's yet. I'm limited here. I try to support everybody as I can, but there's only so much money. So Saeed is located in India, and he makes, these are his hand-carved pins. He just recently got a lathe, and I can tell you this, just from the pictures I've seen, the quality has increased dramatically, of course. So this is one of his ergonomics with I believe he does a lacquer finish, and then the brass. And he usually uses typically woods from India locally. His vary a little bit, and he just got a lathe, so they might start changing a little bit more as well. So there is Saeed. Okay, we have Francisco. Francisco makes acrylic pins almost exclusively. Pretty well known for these clear acrylic pins, and this is one he made me based off of a Zenarian type model. So I had him made it. It's slender. This is really slender for acrylic. That's a difficult thing to do. And then I got his permission and engraved his logo into the flange of my pen. Had him send it to me with no flange just so I could engrave it. So that is Francisco's, and he is located in Italy. So FC Calligraphy. That's Francisco. All right, who's next? Okay, we have Chris and Heather Held. Chris and Heather Held have been doing this longer than I have. They've been making pins for quite a while. Chris turns them, and Heather will finish and paint them. I know Chris does some of the dye work. Most of theirs are flame maple typically. And these are a flourish that she did that I had her put into the pin. So, in a matching set. Yes, I just got these. You know, I want to tell you something too. I hope Heather watches this too, because I gave her so much grief. 2 years ago, I put in my order for these, and don't think it takes them that long to do a holder. It doesn't. I told her, I said, take your time, don't worry about it whenever you get to it. And finally, I took her workshop in Atlanta. I said, hey, I know I said whenever, but could we get it at the workshop? So she got them done for me. So, and they make straights, obliques, flame maple, and the flame maple is usually dyed very bright colors. These are black wood with paint on them. So that's Chris and Heather's work. Okay. Let's see. Who is next? Ah, yes. Hold on. I'm grabbing my papers. Sorry. Ash Bush. Ashley and Zach. Zach turns the pins, her husband, and then she paints them. She does a lot of marbling and a lot of really chunky holders. She has some really chunky carats. This one is one. I'm a Nikola Tesla. I've been making pins for right at 4 years now. So I started when I started, I didn't know there was anyone else, and there was just a couple people making pins, Chris and Heather, Bill Lilly, etc. So, and I'm a Nikola Tesla fan. Most of her pins are a little right. Ashley's are normally short, yes, short, chunky. We'll do the why I'm making pins and all that some other time. Right now, I'm just trying to give everyone a little bit of a plug and let you guys see their pins. So, as you can see, it's quite a bit chunkier. It's typically carat sized, and even her carats are even larger carats typically. And she does hand painting and marbling on them. Zach turns them, and I believe, I could be wrong here, but if last time I knew they were making them all out of pine so that she could paint them. So that's an Ashley Bush holder. Okay, next we have, you guys all know this guy, Heber. I am Hebes. He makes ergonomics. Very different in style. This is one of his earlier ones. I saw he did one with a curly tail before I was able to do them, and I had sent him this piece of bacote to make me one out of bacote. It's an ergonomic that requires a little bit of your knuckles up, but not completely up. So it doesn't require you to be in this position, but you can be twisted over a little bit. So. And he does all kinds of different materials. He does woods, he does burls, he does acrylics, he does combination of burls and acrylics. And this is very untypical for his form. So, but that's a Heber pin. Okay, next we have Connie Chin. Connie and her boyfriend John, I believe that's right, boyfriend, I don't think they're engaged. Makes a ergonomic pin, which is very short, very chunky. Everyone kind of looks at it and goes, well, would it be comfortable? And it is comfortable. There you are, John. Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't put you on the spot. Don't make me. I thought it was boyfriend, but I wasn't sure. And John is very busy he sits on his couch basically and carves these holders in his living room. So, and I know they do a lot of them. And they're one that makes you do the knuckles up. It's an ergonomic, very short, very lightweight, cool little holder. So there's a Connie Chin holder, John. All right. Next, we will do Linney. Linney is out of the Philippines. And she herself doesn't make the pins, but she basically, this is the way it used to be when it started, and I think this is still correct. she employs like a little village, basically, of artisans. Not the whole village, but a little group of people with artisans. These are 3 of her holders. I've been working with her a long time, and we've been back and forth with ideas, so I have 3 of hers. Quite honestly, the first 2 were gifts for me for all the help. So, and then this is her new ergonomic, which is a very, very short ergonomic with a bullock flange. They're usually based off of some kind of history within the Philippines, so some kind of salute to the history of it. So a little bit chunkier on these 2, and then, like I said, this one's a really short little guy. I have big hands, so keep that in mind too, compared to a speedball, though, it's a little short. So there is the Curious Artisan, Linney. Okay, we got a couple more left here. We have, let me get that paper away, Salvador. Salvador is based out of Mexico and does medal holders. This is one of his very, very first ones. He has them so they have a little Allen screw in them, and you can take the flange out, and it'll be a straight holder too. Does it in anodized finishes and different types of metals. He does, I believe, copper, brass, and aluminum. So this one is really heavy. His newer ones are not as heavy as this. You got to remember this is aluminum, so it's not a big chunk of steel or anything. So it's not super, super heavy. So, and I know that the new ones are much lighter weight than this one. So from discussions with him. So that is Salvador. Flange can be adjusted. All of these that you see, the flange can be adjusted. So, yep. All right. So that is Salvador. Oops, a couple more people left. All right, we got Lindsay, and I saw her in here earlier. Lindsay just started making pin holders and is doing these really cool organic shaped pins. So this is one that she just sent me. I sent her a piece of Brazilian rosewood, and it's comfortable. Just like, there's a couple of ergos, they look crazy, but they're really comfortable. And the thing that I really dig about hers is the fact that the way she has the flange mounted and everything, you get to write on the side of your hand, which is not typical of an ergonomic. Typically of an ergonomic, you need to be up like this. But the way she has her flange set and everything, you can use it in your non-traditional grip. So that's it. And she's just been doing this not very long, just like Dan too, and both of them. Dan at Inkslinger Pens, they're just off to a great start. All right, lastly, this is going to be my last one, and it is Buckfa Wood, Alexander. Alexander is from Russia. You're welcome, Lindsay. Alexander's from Russia, and he's making these carved ergonomics. And this one has the little pin rest, which is basically when he cuts the pin out of the wood, he saves the piece and makes a little pin rest out of it. And Alexander's is another one that's ergonomic and allows you to be on the side of your hand and write, which isn't typical of ergonomics, like they'll force you to be over here like this. And I'll just use this as a time to announce it as well. Alexander's pins are going to be coming to the USA. I'm going to be selling them for him. So very shortly, he's in process of making me a bunch of them. And I did that for one reason. One reason is it's a comfortable pin. 2, there's a horrible language barrier with Alexander. He doesn't speak English very well. So I thought that I don't have the time nor the setup to do ergonomics, and the ones that I've shown here, I know Lindsay's very busy. I know Heber's very busy. I know John's very busy. I know Linney has got her own thing going, so I'm getting one of these. So I think he's starting to ship the first batch in like a week or so. So I'll have these soon. I'll have the wood and the burl versions of his. Yeah, he injured himself too, so there was a little bit of a delay. And Russia is slow to get things from, so that's what I'm trying to. They're good pins, and they're ones that don't force this grip. So trying to help out, and I wanted to do an ergonomics, but the reality is I'm just not set up to do it efficiently. So that is okay. Not some of them will, and some of them will not have the holders. So I will. I'll let everybody know. There's many others out there. This is a booming industry right now. It's kind of crazy. So I don't have everyone's, and if I didn't, let me flip the camera around. If I didn't review yours, I can't flip the camera. What's going on here? I don't know what's going on. My camera won't flip. Okay, well, whatever. Look at my hands. There are others, and I plan, if I missed yours or I don't have yours yet, it's not because I don't want one. It's just because I can't buy everybody's at once. So this has been a slow process over years. So as I get more, I will update this and do the same kind of thing, let you see it size-wise to next to everything. So lots of great pin makers out there. It's pretty crazy how nuts this is now, because when I started, there was only a couple people doing it. Now there's lots of people doing awesome pins. So they all are. If you want, I was thinking of doing another scope tonight on just kind of a conversation topic. Would anyone be interested in, this is something I came up with a discussion in a friend of mine the other day, the whole copper plate versus engrossers versus English round hand topic. Okay. All right. Well, what I will do is we will take a break. I'm going to go get some coffee, and then I will start another scope here in a little bit. Yeah, everyone's always confused, and that's what, especially if you're new. So, all right. Well, no problem, Dan. Everybody take it easy. I'm going to take a short break, and then I will be back with another scope. Thank you all.